So welcome to my first Phoenix Friday video, and today we're looking at my completely accidental pencil on clay discovery from our Froggy Friday video. So can I actually take that little discovery and turn it into something functional? Well, let's find out. Now this whole thing started because I didn't actually have a Phoenix mould, so naturally instead of buying one like a normal person, I decided I was going to make one. So I've designed and printed out the Phoenix I wanted, and I'm going over every single pencil line quite heavily with a normal graphite pencil. The idea is that if I get enough graphite onto the paper, I should then be able to transfer that design directly onto the polymer clay. I say should, because at this point, this is still very much an idea in my head. So to create the Phoenix Master for the mould, I'm using this big block of Primo professional polymer clay. Now, if you're new to polymer clay, before you can really work with it, you need to condition it. Basically, what that means is that you need to get it soft and pliable and workable enough so that you can roll it and blend it properly. There's just one tiny problem. This particular block was basically one solid brick, and I was very quickly realising that this wasn't going to be quite as easy as I'd first imagined. Now, the sensible thing, knowing I was doing this video, would have been to have bought a cheap pasta making machine. But did I do that? Of course not. Instead, I'm tearing the clay into smaller pieces and trying to condition each bit individually, rolling, squashing, working it until it's soft enough, and eventually add everything back together. Easy enough, right? No. So in a desperate attempt to save my poor hands, I tried warming it on the radiator, then panicked that I'd accidentally start curing it, and then took it back off. I warmed it in my hands, I rolled it, I squashed it, I even tried sitting on the bloody stuff. Nothing. So while I'm fighting for my life against this block of polymer clay, I suddenly realised something else. I haven't even got enough white clay, which meant finding more clay and doing even more conditioning. And yet, you read that right. 2 days later. And I'll be honest with you, I'd nearly given up on the whole idea. But after racking my brains, I suddenly thought of a way that could potentially warm this clay up. So I'm sealing it inside a bag and popped it into some warm water, hoping that this would soften it enough to finally make it workable. So just in case you were wondering whether I was exaggerating about how tough this clay was, I'm not. After 2 days of squeezing, pushing, rolling and trying to combine all these pieces together, I'd actually bruised the palm of my hands, not once, but twice. My first Phoenix Friday video, and I'm already severely injured. So hi, I'm Tony from George's Gorgeous Gifts, where I've got an idea usually means I've just made myself 3 days worth of extra work. So the Phoenix Friday collaboration is open to everybody, and it's the third Friday of every month. So I've popped a link to the rest of the playlist at the end and below in the description. So let's get back to placing the Phoenix graphite side down directly onto the clay and using the inside of an old vinyl roll as my professional rolling pin. So the idea is that all the graphite should transfer the design straight onto the clay. And of course, before attempting this on a much bigger, far more detailed project, I thoroughly tested this technique several times first. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. Because I actually only did this once with a frog, and somehow that convinced me that this was worth attempting an entire Phoenix mould this size. I will say, the confidence is impressive, if nothing else. So back to present day, and me crossing my fingers in the hopes this is going to work. So I'm carefully peeling the paper away. And look at that. You can't really see it that well on camera, but I genuinely wasn't expecting it to transfer this well. So I've got the entire Phoenix, all those little feather details, everything. So now I've actually got something to work from. And honestly, this bit literally terrified me. In my opinion, this was going to be the hardest part, trying to cut out this Phoenix design without it turning into some angry looking chicken. So I'm taking my craft knife and starting to cut around at the outside of the Phoenix. Now this is where you definitely need a really sharp blade, because the more you drag at the clay instead of slicing clearly through it, the more chance you've got of stretching, splitting or completely destroying the shape that we've just spent 2 days getting into. So absolutely no pressure. Now when I originally decided I wanted to make my own Phoenix mould, I genuinely pictured something quite small and simple. Apparently my brain had other ideas, because all of a sudden this little Phoenix mould has somehow turned into a Phoenix roughly 15 centimetres across, and by the time the mould itself is finished, it's going to be around 1.5 inches deep. How did we get here? I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I shouldn't be left unsupervised with ideas. So anyway, questionable life choices aside, eventually I managed to get the whole phoenix cut out and I could carefully remove it from the plastic sheet. Right, so now we've got our basic phoenix. It was around this point that I was feeling pretty pleased with myself, because not only did I manage to flip the whole thing over without breaking it, he doesn't look like an angry chicken. But before I start adding the second layer of feathers, I'm using some of the clay tools I recently rediscovered in a previous video, just to smooth all around those edges, trying to get that surface a little bit cleaner before I can add the silicone. So I'll be honest, off camera I did have a bit of a play with the one wing. So to make the second one, I'm rolling out a piece of clay, going back over my original drawing with the pencil just to get plenty of graphite back onto it again, and using exactly the same transfer method. It's given me the shape of those feathers. And of course, I hadn't pulled out enough clay to do the whole section in one go. So I'm just working with it rather than starting all over again. And hopefully when I blend the two pieces together, nobody will ever know the difference. Well, apart from you lot. But you can keep a secret, right? So once I was happy with my shape, I'm using my silicone tool to blend in that new clay to the base and to make sure that everything is properly attached. I'm then continuing the same process across the wing, adding and shaping the feathers until we get that second raised layer. So this is what I really wanted from the master, actual depth rather than just lines drawn into a flat phoenix. I've only got to hope now that all of this will eventually transfer into the silicone and then into resin. So it was starting to come together, but the chest on the other hand is looking a little bit lumpy. And although we can tidy it up after it's been baked, I am really conscious about the fact that the silicone will pick up every tiny little blemish. But after a while I started to think that maybe this would be a lot easier once it was a solid piece. And I was also still really worried about that neck. With it being so thin, the last thing I wanted was a headless phoenix, especially after all this work. So to try and give that area a bit more strength, I've added a little bit more clay and I'm blending it all in with my dotting tool. So he's definitely becoming a little bit chunkier than I originally imagined. So all we had to do now was to bake him. The easiest way I could think of doing this was to add a few layers of foil to the base of my baking tray, and then add in an extra sheet of foil across the top just to protect that top layer of feathers, especially with the blank being so deep. My other problem was I didn't have a clue how long this was supposed to bake for. So in true Phoenix fashion, I was quite literally winging it. So I went with 110 degrees, which is what it said on the packet, and I gave them around 45 minutes in the oven and crossed my fingers that the two types of clay would bake at the same speed. So once it looked baked, I removed it from the oven. But as it was cooling, there was something that wasn't sitting quite right. The shape and size of that tail just didn't sit right. So just for a bit of context here, I'm about an hour off leaving the house to go to Leeds for a week. And all of my craft supplies were packed away. I'd even packed away the ring light. Hence this fantastic camera angle. So of course, an hour before leaving the house was a perfect time to start performing surgery on my phoenix. So after a little bit of sanding, I decided to attack that tail. So I grabbed my wire snippers and started cutting away at those feathers, trying to give them a much more natural shape. Now I know this probably looks a little brutal after everything we've done to make it. I know that if I didn't sort that now, I'd end up looking at that tail every single time and hating it. So once I was finally happy with the basic shape, all that was left was the smoothing of those nasty edges. And trust me, this took ages. So I did quite a lot of it off camera, but getting these edges as clean and smooth as possible now should give me a much cleaner, sharper result when we eventually make the mould and cast from it. And for my sanity as well as yours, and the small matter of the fact that I still haven't packed, I'm going to leave this one here, which also means I get to keep you in suspense for another week to find out whether any of this actually works, because apparently in my house, doing one thing at a time just isn't an option. So if you've enjoyed this first Phoenix Friday, make sure you come back next week, and hopefully I'll have at least decided which silicone I'm actually going to use. So if you're not already subscribed and you want to see whether all this effort actually results in a usable Phoenix mould, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell so that you don't miss the next one. Right, I really do need to go and pack before I miss my train. I've been Tony from Georgie's Gorgeous Gifts. Stay safe, happy crafting, and bye for now.